Hi, do you mind if I sit down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Jessie, I can call you Jessie? Okay. So you want to tell me a little bit about why you're here? I know your social worker came in with you.
Yeah, I've been feeling stressed out and nervous and having a hard time lately.
Okay. Has that happened before?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Is there any particular thing that's making you feel more anxious right now?
Lately I've been talking to my parents more, and I've just been feeling anxiety talking to them, and so when I'm with my group at my home, everyone just seems worried about me, and I feel anxious and nervous about talking about my parents and going through that.
Okay. So right now you're feeling really anxious. You don't necessarily talk to your parents regularly? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I don't really talk to them a lot, but lately I have been.
Okay. And you're living in a group home? Okay. All right. So where does the anxiety happen most? Is there anything that sort of sets it off other than thinking about your parents?
Well, sometimes, like when I'm going to school or going to work, and I just notice like other families and seeing how happy they are, it makes me feel upset. And
Okay.
seeing like things such as like topics in school, it kind of makes me upset. I have to leave the class to cry about it.
Okay. So it sounds like you're sad and feeling anxious. How does your body react when you're having those emotions?
It's like a panic, like I can't control it. I feel dread, and I have a really hard time getting myself back together,
Okay.
especially when I'm in public, because when I'm on the SkyTrain, if something triggers me and I start to have this panic, there's just no escape of getting out of that situation, so I sit there and I cry.
Okay. Jessie, do you think it would be helpful if we sort of talked a little bit about what your brain is doing, like what your body is doing when you're starting to feel that panic attack? Would that be helpful? Okay. So have you seen a brain before, like the sort of shape of it in school, anything like that?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay, so there's 3 parts to your brain that react when you're feeling triggered. So when you're on a bus or you're on the train and you see family, you start to feel sort of a big emotion, you feel anxious or you feel sad, your body reacts to that, and it's your brain that does the reaction. So there's 3 parts. There's this tiny little part in the middle, and it's called an amygdala, and it reacts first, and it's kind of like inside of this area, and that's fancy term is hippocampus. And then on top of that, you know how it's kind of shaped, there's like this part and then that. This is your cortex. So this part, when you feel sad, when you have that big emotion, it sort of senses danger. It's the part of your brain that sort of, it gets your body ready to sort of run or stay where you are or fight. Have you heard of fight, flight, or freeze?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay, so your body, it either freezes, or you want to run, or you want to fight. So your body doesn't really know what to do at that time. So this is in the middle, and then this hippocampus, it starts to sort of pump your body full of stress. It gets ready to do all those things. So your heart rate goes up and your body reacts to the emotion. And this part on the outside is not really working right now. It doesn't really know what to do. And that's the same for everybody. This happens in everyone's brain, not just yours. It's how it works. So if you've had a lot of stress, and maybe growing up, like you're in a group home, you don't have a great relationship with your parents, that would be very stressful. Your body can sort of overreact over time because you've been having these feelings and they're just getting worse and worse. So if you have like something little that startles you, your body might go into that sort of stress mode. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, and maybe that's why I'm feeling the way I am and what's happening to me.
Yeah, a lot of people do feel the way that you're feeling, and I mean, that doesn't make it easier, but it's normal for your brain to react like that. Do you think you would sort of like to practice something that calms that part of your brain?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so one thing you can do is take some deep breaths. So just like let it out, and you can kind of feel your feet on the ground. And you notice how they're a little heavier. You might notice that one of your toes is heavier or lighter. You can kind of feel the pressure in your heel kind of move up through the bottom of your leg. And you can just sort of even focus on that for a bit if you're starting to feel some big emotions. I heard of like different objects that you can hold.
no, not really, no.
So I do have some here, I don't know if you noticed them. But like you could carry a rock in your pocket or something if you wanted to hold that instead of your phone. This is a fidget spinner. It's like sort of destroying it. You kind of do this, and you can like have it in your pocket and do that. Or there's this gourd that's really dry with beads. I don't know, do you want to try
Sure.
one of these? Okay. So if you hold that, you can look at it, and if you feel strange looking at it in public, then you can always just picture it in your pocket. But you can look at the different colors, you can notice that some are shiny. Can you hear anything when you touch it?
Well, the beads sometimes make some noise.
So you can focus on the sound. And then does it feel, you can feel different textures, does it feel smooth?
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Does it have a temperature?
It's pretty neutral.
Yeah, so it's not hot or cold. You can picture what it would taste like. I think a lot of people touch that, so I wouldn't lick it, but you can sort of imagine like what squash would taste like or something like that.
Yeah, this actually reminds me something that my dad showed me when I was little. We used to make, what are they called? These ornaments on our tree, and they symbolize the different traditions that we do in my culture. And this just reminds me of beading and weaving, so just exactly.
Oh, that's really neat. That's awesome. So do you feel a spiritual connection to that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still bead?
No, not anymore. Yeah, just everything that had happened in my family, from my dad trying to deal with his pain, and I feel like all of our traditions were just lost from dealing with his pain, and it was just hard to be the same anymore. We weren't the same family.
Yeah. To come back and talk some more about that and maybe explore some of the things that you used to do. I don't know if that's something that you maybe want to try and get back in touch with. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, like some of my grandparents have reached out to me lately, and I've been kind of avoidant and not really sure if I should approach them, but it seems like there's a lot of people that care about me, and I just have to find the right balance to cope and feel connected again. I really do miss practicing my traditions and talking with my grandparents and my extended family, as it makes me feel like I have like myself again, and I feel like throughout all this struggle of dealing with the pain my father went through, and it's kind of traumatized me in a way, and I've lost sight of who I am, so maybe reconnecting with that would help.
Okay. Earlier in the talk that we just had, you mentioned that you're Indigenous, and you talked a little bit about how you're feeling disconnected from your family and your culture, and how that makes you upset, and how when you're feeling sad or worried about not talking to your family, you sometimes, feel triggered. You sometimes react and your body goes into a panic mode. So we talked about something that can maybe help with that right now, and we'll talk some more next week if you'd like to come back. And in the meantime, we do have a couple pamphlets just on mindfulness that sort of remind you of the 5 senses or different things you can do. So you're welcome to take a look at one of those So you can take a look at that, and maybe it has something that you did when you were little in it. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming in today.